I hope you guys are doing well on this Saturday evening. Now there's freezing conditions all over, so I hope you guys are staying warm. It's 11 degrees where I'm from. It's pretty cold, pretty frigid outside. I had a very hectic day today, hence why I'm late tonight, and I do apologize for that. I am late because I was with my mom all day. She does not drive, and she wanted to have a girls' day with me, so I had to do that. I was pretty much her chauffeur and her Uber today. So I love that. I love that I get to spend time with my mother because I don't see her much. So today was a very busy day. I was out all day today and got home pretty late. And I don't like that when my Saturdays are hectic, but some weekends are like that where we have to get all our errands done in one day. And it's crazy. Whenever there's a storm, it's like these grocery stores, the bulk ones, because I normally order my bulk groceries maybe once a month. So this week was the week for me to order my bulk groceries. And I was supposed to pick it up in the morning. And when I went there, they told me that, oh, we're way behind. And I'm assuming it's because of the storm, everyone is going crazy. It's like they didn't have food in their house or anything. They're going crazy, and everyone decided to bulk order. And everything was, it was, you know, delayed. Everything was delayed because I was supposed to pick up my order at about 11 a.m., 10 to 11 a.m., and they were not complete with my order until 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So, and if people wanted to order today, they couldn't because there's freezing conditions and warning that there's going to be a major storm tomorrow through Monday, and we have to stay home. So I hope everyone is pretty much staying home and you're enjoying your house and staying warm because the weather will be pretty bad tomorrow. Hi Lottie, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Yes, I remember you. So it's about 2 a.m. there in England. I hope you're doing well, Lottie. So yeah, I hope you're doing well, and thank you for coming into my live. And guys, please don't forget to like my live when you come in. I really appreciate it. So that was pretty much my day today. I was helping my mom. I was running errands with my mom. She doesn't drive, so I was pretty much her Uber driver today or her. Oh, okay, so it's 1 a.m. I always forget the time difference. It's 8:04 p.m. here. So I pretty much had to be my mom's chauffeur, which I love spending time with her. So I didn't matter, hence why I'm late on live. So I wanted to talk about a topic today, whether or not, if you're in a relationship, can you be friends with the opposite sex? Can a man and woman be friends, even best of friends, if they're married to someone else or in a committed relationship? And based on my experience, it can go either way. You can be friends with them, or you are allowed to be friends with them, but only if you're respectful to your partner. If you guys have an agreement, you have some type of understanding, you have a conversation. Because some people, they have male friends before they meet their partners. If you didn't meet from like high school or college, some of us, we had our friends before we were married or before we met our significant others. So I think if you have a mutual understanding, if you have respect for your partner, if you have respect for your partner, yes, you can. You guys just have to agree that it's okay. I don't think when you're in a relationship, someone should tell you who you can't and cannot be friends with. They shouldn't say, oh, because that person is a man and you're a woman, you can't be friends with that person. To me, that's a form of control, and you should never try to control someone. You should never try to tell someone who they can be friends with. You should trust the partner that you're with and trust the individual that they're going to do the right thing. Now, if you don't trust them and you're trying to control them not to be friends with the opposite sex, then you have to look into yourself. Maybe you have a insecurity, or maybe you can't be trusted. If you can't be trusted, then you're obviously not going to trust your partner to be friends with the opposite sex, you know? And I think when you're in relationships, you should find mutual couples where you can be friends. Say you were friends with, maybe I was friends with a guy before he met his wife. Well, my friend should introduce me to the wife, because we all should be friends now, and it should be okay if you're cordial friends. If I was the type of woman would say, I don't want to be friends with your wife, then that will show some sort of jealousy, like I'm jealous of my friend's wife. And then that's when my friend should cut me off. You should never be friends with a woman that is jealous of your wife. Whether, regardless of if you met the friend before the wife, once you say someone is your wife, then your friend have to respect those boundaries. Your friends have to respect your wife. You know, yes, it's about dirty minds. Yes, there's people who they get with they can't be friends with the opposite sex. They cannot. And then there's men who and women who you'll tell them that you're married, and they're your friends, and they'll disrespect you, or they'll be waiting to be like your rebound. They'll be sitting there waiting to be your rebound. They have those type of friends that have ulterior motives, that they're not your genuine friend. They're just waiting for you to be say, oh, until you're ready to see them beyond that friendship. And so if you have a friend like that, no, you can't be friends with that type of person. You have to keep them at a distance, because if they're waiting for you and your partner to mess up for them to be your rebound, then to me, that's not a friend. That's not a good friend. Right. There's a lot of people at the workplace who have friends as well. I think people will say, oh, he's my work husband or he's my work wife. And when there's a work event, then you can't bring your actual spouse. You can't bring your actual wife or your actual husband. And then to me, that something is wrong with that, because at your workplace, your coworker, you're calling them an actual work husband, work wife, when you have your actual husband and wife. To me, that's a very suspicious friendship, and it shouldn't happen that way. You guys can't be friends. If you have a male or female friend, and when you want to introduce them to your significant other and they have an issue with that, the friend, then you can tell that that's not a true friend. That is someone who is waiting to be with you. They like you, actually. And those people are kind of dangerous. Hi, poor Lindo. And those people are dangerous, because they'll be around you and they'll probably mess up your relationship because they have ulterior motives. Deep down, they like you. Deep down, they want to be with you. Deep down, they don't think your friend is good enough for you. So I'm sorry, they don't think your spouse is good enough for you. And as a spouse, as a boyfriend or girlfriend, significant other, you should also know your boundaries. Yes, you can talk to the opposite sex, you can be friends with the opposite sex, but be careful of the conversations you're having. Your spouse should know who your friends are and they should be introduced to your friends, but be careful of the conversations you're having, you know? Right. If the opposite sex friend is single, then more than likely that opposite friend has feelings for you. So it's best to be friends with someone who's in a relationship already. They're in a relationship, so more than likely it's a genuine friendship. It's a platonic friendship. They're not looking for anything further than just being friends. Now, that's there are exceptions to that rule, right? There are some people who you're couple friends, like you guys are couple friends, and then the spouses get with each other. So you never know. Right. I totally agree with you. Anna, you're supposed to keep certain conversations, certain issues that you're having with your spouse. You have to keep it within your relationship. You can't tell your friend everything. Yes, you may have a best friend that's a male, but certain things you have to protect your husband. You can't give your male friend everything because then they're going to come in, they're going to see that there's something going on in your relationship, and then they're going to try to wean their way in. you know People always ask whether I'm married or not, and I say yes, I'm married. But I can have, just like I'm having cordial conversations with you guys, I can talk to a male cordially, but it depends on the topic that you're talking about. For instance, I go to like the gas station, and sometimes I'll say, "Oh, let me buy a scratch ticket." And the guy, he's so friendly. We'll talk, we chat about anything. And he'll say, "Oh, hey, you're my friend, but we're not friend beyond me going to that store." So I won't, when I go to the store, we can sit there and talk about, I would say maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and that's about it. We talk about political views, we talk about what's happening in the world, because he's not my culture. He's not the same. We have different backgrounds. So we can sit there and talk about kids, talk about anything. And I think, yeah, you can be cordial to people. You can be cordial, but you have to know your boundaries. You have to know your limits. And it's okay to talk to the opposite sex, but you just have to be respectful to your partner. I think most women, if they're having issues with their husbands, they hide it because what, they're ready to leave that relationship. So they'll befriend a guy knowing that, they'll be sneaky to their husband, befriend a guy just to tell the guy the problems in their relationship so that, that guy will feel sorry for her. And then now he's probably her rebound guy. So you have to be careful. We see stories a lot that, people get together with their friends and they hurt the spouse. So you have to be very careful. But I feel like if there's respect, because one of my very good friends is a male. I have a couple good male friends, and they're very, very good. We can talk, but they know that me and my husband are not going anywhere. If you had friends before your spouse, before your husband, before your wife, and you guys are good friends, guess what, guys? Now your spouse is friends with those type of people. They talk to them when you have gatherings, and your friends of the opposite sex come over. you know they talk to your spouse. So that's how I know you have to keep it respectful. You have to keep it, cordial. And you have to let your spouse know. You have to let your spouse meet the friends that are important to you. And I have a male best friend that's a guy, but we're very respectful to each other. I just keep people in my life that have done major things for me. When I was low, they're there for me, whether they were there before my spouse or not. If somebody is the opposite sex and they weren't being, you know, what word? The word, I can't think of the word. If they weren't being, you had boundaries with them. They know their boundaries, they respected you, and they didn't do anything, that would make you feel uncomfortable. If they were there for you in your lowest moments, then I feel like those type of friends you have to hold on to, whether or not you have a husband or not. You just have to hold on to those friends, but still you have to know your boundaries. I have friends, like work friends. When I was at work, my husband wasn't at work, but when I was pregnant, if I said, "Oh, I need something to eat," those people would get me something to eat. You know, you have those type of people in your life that is just you can't you have to keep them in your life because they're good people, you know? And your coworkers they'll see that that person is your good friend. You know, my friend who was at work when I was pregnant, if I said, "Oh, can you get me this? Can you do that? Can you do that?" He would really do it. And so that's why I got the nickname Princess. But we're both married, but we're very respectful to each other. We don't disrespect each other and we don't talk bad about each other's spouses. So I think it's about boundaries, and if you two are, you know, how to speak to each other, and you set boundaries. And some people on the outside may not understand certain opposite sex friendship, because some people will think that you're having a relationship with your friend when it's not a relationship. You guys are just really good friends, like, you know, brothers and sisters. And some people who they can't themselves have those type of friendship, they won't understand, they won't get it, so they'll sometimes spread rumors. Like my friend who is my best friend, who's a guy, people always thought we were like in a relationship. And we were like, no, nothing happened. We're like platonic friends. We're really good friends who can talk about any topic. We can talk, you know, and reason. Even when it comes to business, you know, we can do that. So some people just have that rapport and connection with someone, and it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be like you guys are very much platonic and you just connect on an intellectual level. You connect on a friendship level. You connect. It's just different, but it's not anything romantic. Hi, Ozma. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? So you just connect on like that mutual friendship level, you know, and there's levels. There's people who, you know, you dated before. Some people you dated someone before and you guys remain friends. And now it's like a platonic friends. You know nothing will ever happen with you guys again, and but you guys have remained platonic friends, and you can introduce that person to your spouse, and that's okay. But the type of friends who I feel, and you guys can comment in the chat, let me know, do you guys have opposite sex friends when you're in a relationship? And as a male, did you guys have your boundaries? Did you set your boundaries? Did you set your boundaries? Did you have your boundaries? Let me know, guys. Let me go. No, guys, let me know what you think. I just feel like you have to be transparent with your friend. You guys have to set boundaries. If your friend is doing, saying things that you're not okay with, then you have to let them know. Hi, Oba. If your friends are saying, your opposite gender friend is saying things, when you're in a committed relationship and your opposite gender friend is saying things that you're not okay with, then you have to let them know. You have to set boundaries. Your relationship with that friend have to be transparent. You have to let your partner know that you guys are friends, and then set a clear expectations of what the friendship needs to be like. set a boundary, set a limitation of what your friendship needs to be. Because some people, they don't understand. Some people are very, I'm from the United States, in the US. Some people, they don't understand. You have to set boundaries because some people will think they have an opportunity with you and you have to tell them no. And sometimes, if you had a very good friend and then you got married and that person just pretty much cut you off, they're like, no, you're not going to be friends with them anymore, then that person was not truly your friend. That person really wanted to have a chance with you. They saw you as a potential partner and they were waiting for you to open up and be ready to have that relationship with them. But because they saw that you weren't interested, then they cut you off. They cut you off. And like I say, Oba, you have to be transparent. You have to set boundaries. You guys can subscribe to my channel, like my live, subscribe. And of course, all my subscribers are my friends. You guys are my friends. As long as we have boundaries, it's okay to be friends. You know what friends are? Friends are people who can build your life up. They can pour into your life in a positive way and they can help you. Sometimes we have a spouse, we have a partner. Will that spouse be able to provide everything? Every information, every knowledge? No, because say your spouse is not in a certain profession that you need understanding, you need clarity. Then your friend might have that, and your friend will provide the clarity and understanding of that profession. The clarity of that po- of that profession, you know? I don't think I can give you my WhatsApp number over. So you guys have to, if you guys would like to come on the live, just click the link and come on the live with me because I would love to hear your take on, do you guys have friendships of the opposite gender? Let me know. Like, you guys can let me know if you have friendships that are the opposite gender. I think all my friends that are of the opposite gender, they've treated me so well. I have to be grateful and thankful for how well I've been treated by my male friends. And it's very platonic, but they've treated me like queen. They've treated me like a princess. I have nothing negative to say about the friends who I consider my male friends. They've treated me so, so well, and they put me on a pedestal. They just make me feel like I'm a queen. And whatever female that my friends get, those females are very lucky. They're very lucky. Hi, hon. How are you? So they're very lucky to have my friends as their spouse. So there's just stories that I have on my friends or the male friends that I have, how they have pretty much been there for me, especially when I was pregnant. A lot of them were there. If I needed food and my husband wasn't there, they would bring me food, and that was okay. They were just there to talk to me if I was going through an emotional day. And I know your spouse is supposed to do that, but sometimes you have friends who you can talk to and it's okay as long as I said you are transparent and you have boundaries. you set the tone. I am just someone who is very talkative, but I keep it respectful. I have boundaries, and I don't, I respect my friends, and they know that. Oh, well, what do you need help with? So they know that. So if you guys do have opposite gender friends, opposite sex friends, let me know. What are your relationships like? What are your relationship like, Are you guys, I know some men, they're waiting for something to happen. Are you guys waiting for something to happen so that you guys can be in a relationship? Because most friendships, most relationship with male and female, some of them, they were friends first. And I think it's good if you're friends first. What It's good if you guys are friends first before you have a relationship. You should get to know your partner first, but then there's people who are true friends, like my guy friends. I wouldn't say they're like my girlfriends, but I mean, I can talk to them and ask them anything, and my husband knows about them. It's like they're not a secret. If you're someone who's married or and have a friend that your spouse doesn't know about, that's not good. That means you guys are going to do something that is not supposed to happen. So you guys shouldn't be friends in the first place. And there's some friends who will look into your relationship and then they want what your spouse have. And that's not good. A true friend, that's not a true friend. So you should cut that person off as well. That's based on my experience and, the conversations that I have with my girlfriends or my male friends. Hi, are you, hon? How are you guys? I'm talking I'm talking about, can you be friends with the opposite gender when you're in a relationship? And if I sound lagging, I'm sorry. I had a very long day today. I did have a coffee, and I don't want to go to bed early because tomorrow is Sunday and we're getting a snow day. So I can chat with you guys. Nero, you're right, Nero, because me personally, I feel like I can be friends with a guy. I know it's not, I can be friends with a guy, but I don't feel like I would like my hubby to be friends with a girl. I don't know. I don't know why I'm like that, but it's not jealousy because I'm not like a jealous person. I don't know. I just know that my boundaries is just weird. Unless we're like I know the friend, like then I don't think certain guys can be friends with a female because I feel like the female will overstep and certain guys they don't know their boundaries. I'm not saying my hubby's that way. I'm just saying as a girlfriend, or I don't think I ever liked any of my boyfriends or spouses to be friends with the opposite sex. And this is just a conversation, guys. Don't judge me, but you guys can state your opinion as well. And you guys can join the live if you want to. But Near, I think you're right. Most women don't allow it. Most women don't want their spouse to be friends with the opposite sex. But if you're a mature woman and you're confident within yourself, you won't care, because I feel like you cannot force someone, you can't tell your partner or force someone not to be friends with the opposite sex. What if they were friends before they met you? So now the friendship has ended. But I understand that because I have a very good friend that's a guy. And so, because of my personality, I had to get to know the wife as well And the wife had to see that, I had good intentions. It wasn't anything crazy. So once she got to know me, then I think she was comfortable, because you're right, women do get it's kind of weird. And people are very weird about the friendship that we have. A lot of people thought it was more than friendship. And it's not. We're just really cool we're really cool. Like, you know, okay, Nero, yes, yes. But if you're talking too much and you're taking up all your time, like say AI, you're talking to a fake AI, you're talking more to your friend than you're talking to your spouse, then your spouse will not like it. Like if I'm talking too much on live, my husband doesn't like it. So it's just weird. You have to balance, like you have to find time to talk to your partner. Don't just put a friend in front of your partner. So if you do that, then that's a problem too. You know, don't put your friends in front of your partner. So let your partner know that they're important and they're number one, because they will get intimidated if they see that you're giving certain friends more attention than you're giving them. Nero, I don't know. I don't know. I think if he had a real girl, that would be worse, because a real girl, it could turn into a relationship. He can definitely leave you if him and that girl have a better connection. But if you're a woman who have confidence and your partner is friends with a real girl, then you guys have to talk. You have to talk to your partner to see what are the intentions. Why do you need to be friends with a girl? Like, you have me. Why do you need to be friends with a girl? And most of my friends who are guys, I would say this is embarrassing. Like one of them, he's our friend, but he's not just my friend. He's friends with me and a couple of my friends that are girls. So say we go to brunch or stuff, he'll come and he'll be friends with everyone. But whenever he's on the phone and he gets like to his doorstep, he shuts off the phone. And whenever we're like, why don't you ever introduce us to your wife? He does not introduce us to his wife, but he's friends with us. But we've told him about himself. We're like, why would you do that? We don't like that. We told him how we feel, but we remain friends with him. We remain friends with him. It's a group friendship because we knew him before he got married. We knew him from like our early 20s. But the wife is uncomfortable with us being friends with him, I believe. But it's just a weird situation because the guy is so cool, he's so nice, but then when it comes to his spouse, he hides us from his spouse. He knows we're married, me and my other friend, so it's not like we want anything with him. And he's a good guy, it's just that aspect we don't like. We don't like the fact that he cannot tell his spouse that he have friends that are girls. Yeah, I'm not talking about flirting. I'm talking about friendships. Because guys will always flirt. Like if you're a pretty girl, men are gonna flirt. For instance, today I was at my parents' house and I was hanging out with my mom, and they were having a burial. Like, people pack burials to go, like it's for donation to send to Jamaica. So the guy was there, he was coming to pick up the burials, and he was just saying stuff in front of my parents about me. I forgot what it was, but I had to set boundaries. He was a clown. I had to set boundaries and tell him that I was married, I'm not available. But some people are just clown. They will flirt with you even if other people are there. They don't have any boundaries, but as a female, you just have to well, I didn't have a dress on. I had a jacket. I was very covered, but people see your face. Sometimes it's my face, it's not like my body. And I have an aura. I have like an aura, I think. So I'm talking to you guys. I have the same type of personality in real life. So I have that aura that I feel like people can, they gravitate to it. So he was funny, but I had to set boundaries. You know, after a while, we had a conversation because my parents were there. It wasn't just me, you know. I was talking to him, and then, you know, we got to know each other, and we're like, oh, you're cool, because he was married too. It's not like he was single, but he was playing. He didn't know me. He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you guys tell me about Carla before? And I'm like, okay, I didn't respond because you cannot flirt back with a guy when you're married. But I was like, oh, I'm not available. I'm married. Thank you, Nero. I appreciate it. Okay, Nero. But I'm not always in that red dress. I'm not always dressed like that. Some days I'm dressed very different. You guys see me when I'm like walking or in my just a sweatshirt. I come on live looking, you know, anyhow. I don't always dress up. So today when I went to the gas station, I went for, you know, I was there, and I told you I always talk to the guy. He's an Indian guy. I went in, and I was I wasn't dressed up, but I was, you know, in a different type of coat. And he's like, oh, I haven't seen, he's like, oh, and I don't think it was flirting. He really, I don't dress up when I go to that store. I'm normally in a sweater, a sweatshirt, because I'm taking my kids from like a sporting event, or sometimes my kids, they want a snack. So I'll just run in there and I'll look, you know, like how I'm going to the gym in a sweatshirt or, you know, a hoodie. So I had on, I was just dressed a certain way, and maybe it was the coat. He's like, "Oh, where are you going? Are you coming from work? I have not seen you like this before." I don't know if that was flirting, because I just told him, "Oh no, I'm not coming from work. You know, I just was going to the mall with my mom, and I just decided to put this on. I don't work on the weekends." So I had to let him know that I don't work on the weekends. And what else? So then we started chatting. He started asking me, "Oh, where do you work?" Blah, 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 blah. And then we started talking about the world, like what was happening in the world, because he's Indian, and I guess he was a student on a visa. And he was saying how hard it is to get jobs and stuff like that. So we had a conversation. So with that, me, okay, sorry, my live got cut off. My live got cut off. So with me telling you guys this story, it's pretty much saying how I am not always dressed a certain way. Like it depends on my mood. And I don't really dress up because I don't go anywhere. I just go to my kids' sports events. And to a guy, dressing up is so different from a girl. Yeah, so with me, I have like my best of friends who are friends are couples. My best friend, I'm friends with her. I was friends with her before I was single, before she was married. Like we've been friends for over 20 plus years. So we've been through it together. And now we're both married. So we do couple stuff. Like if we go on vacation, we'll all go with the kids, you know, and we get to know each other's partners, and we're cordial. I also have single friends that know my husband, because I have friends that I've been friends with for like maybe over 15 plus years. So they've seen me in my single stage, in my married stage. So, you know, They've they've seen me in my single stage, my married stage, stuff like that. But hi, Rana. You're not, we're friends, but you're too temperamental, Rana. I don't know. Your personality type give me anxiety. Okay, so Nero, you're saying the picture in my red dress makes me look like I'm single? I'm covered in that dress. So how does it make me look like I'm single? The picture is I'm totally covered in that dress. So I don't know. It's pretty much just to show the outfit. Nero, you're hitting us with some gems. And I'm telling you, Nero, based on my experience, I have friends of the opposite sex that I would not cheat with them because I have no attraction to them. My attraction to them is just friends. But I guess we have to pick and choose who we want to be friends with. So if you are really attracted to a person, then you should not be friends with that person because you know that it's not going to work. If you have an attraction to somebody, well, near I did go on a date night. I did. I could be going on a date night with my husband. He's just not in the picture. Sometimes I'll post things like outfits that he's there, or he's the one who takes the videos. The the video in the black outfit, he's recording it. The videos in most of my pictures, and he's the one recording those videos. So it's not like I'm single. I just don't have my husband up here because my page is not a couples page. But if you guys want to see us together in my shorts, I certainly can. I'm not saying I love to be married and in love, but I don't promote that. I don't believe in doing that on social media, me personally. Some people are okay with it, but not me. If you go to my earlier shorts, you definitely will see videos of us together. He's there in my videos. Are you saying if you scroll through my shorts, I don't know how you guys see the shorts. He's in my videos. And I talk about him all the time. I say I'm married, so he's not hidden. My page originally was about really fashion and dressing up, but I've been doing these lives, and so uh you guys may think I am single, but I'm not. I talk about relationship and friendships, and right now I do get what you're saying. When some people in real life cannot be trusted. You're right, because some husbands, they are cheating, and some wives, they're cheating. Right. Every relationship is not platonic where people are can be friends with the opposite sex. So you're right. Hi, Kamini. How are you? Thank you for coming on to my life. So you're right, Nira. Sometimes it's hard. Like at workplaces, it's weird how you go to your job, and it's happened at my company a couple of times. We know that these people are married and they're pretty much having a relationship with their coworker, and they get let go because they're being inappropriate. People have gotten let go because they're being inappropriate in a parking lot. They've done stuff in their car in a parking lot. If you're that desperate to be in a relationship with your coworker, then you should not be married, because a workplace is not somewhere you should have, like, you should go cheat on your spouse, especially if you've been with the company for a long time or you want to stay there. Then that is not a good thing. Yeah, some people they get married. Some people have come into the company with their spouses. Some people, but there are exceptions to the rule, you know? And guys, I don't know what's happening to my live service today. It's it keeps cutting off. Yeah, lots of people have met at work. I personally don't think I could do it. You know, people, when I was single before I met my husband, because I've been with my company for a long time, there's people who try to get in a relationship with me. And I've dated people, but not like I've dated maybe a guy or two, not go far, you know. I didn't date them. I was just friends with them, not really date. I wouldn't consider that dating. But in the workplace, I think when people are single and you're young, this is like when we're in our 20s, is they'll try to get with everyone. And so, oh yeah, I did date a guy at work a very long. See, I forget things, but nothing really happened because that guy, he was a player. Bye, Comey. Oh yes, I remember you now. You can stay on the conversation, Comey. Kiyomi. Sorry. Yeah, that's a nice name. Your username is so different than your real name. You can stay on the conversation, Kiyomi, because this is a good conversation. If you're in a relationship with someone and we need to know you're a female, so we need to know, can you be friends with the opposite sex? I'm speaking from a female perspective, and these gentlemen are speaking from a male. So, Kiyomi, you can let us know from a female perspective, can you be friends with the opposite sex? Okay, Nero. Okay. But when the ones that they found in the parking lot at our job, it was really crazy at one point. I guess people were just very much going through it. And there's people who they have cheated, you know, they break up with their spouses and they're in a very good relationship. Because, like I said, I've been with the company for a while. So you hear these rumors and you see, especially when the, we didn't have people working from home. You would see everything. People, everything would be in your faces. So they have people who they get with a partner, they break up, get with somebody from work, and then it don't work. It still doesn't work. So they've gotten with somebody new, and then it become friends with someone from work. You guys connect, you know, you have a fling, you do whatever. But then because you just that person was just a rebound, so the relationship may or may not work. Not all rebound relationships will work. You know, not all rebounds. Some will work if you're meant to be with that person. It will work, but not all rebound relationships will work. So you have to be careful. I've seen it where people are. You're so right, Kiyomi. Just have boundaries. That with a female, it's easier for you to trust a female to be friends with a male, like your wife. It's easier to trust her to be friends with a male than to trust the husband to be friends with a female. Because I feel like men are pretty much weaker. They are very much weaker. If your friend is you know flirting with your female friend and you're married, and most women, they when they see a married man, he's a catch. They don't care that he's married. He's more attractive to her because she knows he's with someone. It's like a challenge or something. Some women are like that. Yeah, my life is freezing a bit. I don't know if it's because of the storm that's coming, but it keeps popping out and in. But hopefully it's okay now. So, Kiyomi, I know you're right. It can work with certain people. So, with my friend, that's my best friend. Well, he's one of my good friends. I can't say he's the most talked to male friend outside of my husband. I had I wouldn't say yes, I have male friends that I hang with, but they're married, but I don't hang out with them like by ourselves. You get it? We don't go out by ourselves. We go out with like a group of people. When we were single, we were friends. We would go out like to lunch because my friend, we're, yes, Godspeed. If you wear a ring, I bet you the woman will be falling at you. I'm telling you, men think like a lot of men think if they don't wear a ring, then it's okay to catch a woman. But women, they they are very much attractive. Once a man say they're married, some women just throw themselves at them. They just have competitive mode. They want to get with that guy, which is really crazy. And people, they are fixated with relationships. So a lot of people look on the outside and they don't see what's happening on the inside. So you'll see a guy and you'll want to get with him, but you don't know what his wife is dealing with on the inside. You don't know what, contract they have in their marriage or what they're going through. Right, Kiyomi. My friend to me, I don't have that type of attraction to him, so we can be friends. I'm not saying he's not saying I'm beautiful. I'm sure he thinks I'm beautiful, but he respects my marriage. Some men just respect marriages and they will not take it there. Now, other people, they'll see me, they don't care if I'm married. They'll make advances and they'll say certain things, and I have to put them in their place. Godspeed. You need to order it from Amazon. It will get there by Wednesday when the storm passes by. Order it from Amazon. Order it from Amazon. So, Nero, do you really, will you really know if you're, okay, say your spouse is at work. Do you know if your spouse is taking a girl to lunch? What if the spouse doesn't tell you they're taking you to lunch? And you should be having dates or taking your wife on dates or your partner on dates. You shouldn't just taking your spouse, I mean your work friend to lunch. And having work friends is so different, but I get what you're saying, Nira. Work friends take it, some can take it, they don't have boundaries. And so that's why they cheat on their spouses or cheat on their boyfriends. Because some people, you're at work more than you're at home. And then a lot of people, they go out at lunch and then they have this group that go out to happy hour together. So when you're drinking and hanging out with your friends, your coworkers more than you're hanging out with your spouse, things can happen. Things can happen. Things can happen. Trust me, I've seen it at my employment. I've seen it where even there, I've just seen so much where people break up with their spouses. And the weird thing, it's not going to work because I've seen it where people, they break up with their spouses. Like this guy at work, long time ago, he broke up with his spouse. He got with a girl that was way younger than him. They moved to another branch, to another state. And ultimately, after years, I would say after 10 or 15 years, him and this new girl broke up. So what was the point of that? You know, work friends do, some work friends become, um, can become more than friends. I told you I have a work friend that people, they started a rumor that something was going on between me and my work friend, and we're just very much platonic friends. Someone started a rumor, and my work friend was friends with the guy. So my work friend did not show me the text that the guy sent the work friend. So he just said he went to the manager because the guy was spreading rumors about me and him. And he wouldn't send me the text. So I was wondering what it was. They were friends. So he, he knew I would have gotten upset. So he just kept the text from me. I agree with that, Kiyomi. Godspeed. I wonder what they see in you. Like, why? That's weird. Is it the good type of lesbian that look like a woman, or is it the studs? I'm kidding. Oh God, forgive me. I'm just asking because you didn't specify. You're so right, Kiyomi. You have to set boundaries because men are slick. Men will say stuff and say, Godspeed, no, that's awkward. That's weird. Now, men are slick. Okay, so we'll talk. You'll, okay, some females are cordial, some females are friendly, some females like to talk like me. I'm cordial, I'm friendly. But some men may take that as flirting, and it's not flirting. Like, we're just talking, we're being cordial. We're just that those Some women are just cordial, and some men take it as flirting. They take it like, oh, you're flirting with them, and you're not flirting with them. But yes, I could see why some men would do that because there's some females who are just very easy. Like, they're easy. They're easy. Men can just get them. Okay. that, okay. But they look like males, Godspeed. Why would they? It's just weird. I remember speaking of studs, I remember when I was in college, I was like, I didn't have any kids yet, maybe 20 years old. And I went to school in Philly. So it was really big in Philly. I was going home to my apartment one night, and a bunch of them just tried to, they were like saying stuff to me. I was like, oh my goodness, I had to run to my apartment because I didn't know what the heck was going to happen that night. I didn't know what was going to happen that night when those studs were, they were, how a man talked to a woman. Yeah, that was definitely happened. I feel like there's boundaries, Nero. And you're right. I feel like it really doesn't have, it has to do with attraction. If you're attracted to your friend, then you guys can't be friends because something will happen ultimately. Eventually something will happen. So you have to separate yourself as a friend. You have to know your boundaries. You have to set the stage. You have to talk to your friend. You can't, you have to set boundaries because When it comes to the opposite sex, some people normally like they become your friends because they're already attracted to you. Most men try to get with a girl and then the girl have to reject him and then he's friend zoned. He's friend zoned, you know? Some of my friends, I don't know if they were flirting or not because I'm very direct. I will let you know if I like you or not. So I think a lot of them were afraid to be friend zoned, so they just remain my friends. I'm trying to answer your question, Nero. I don't think so. I don't know any of my husband's friends that are female friends outside of his work. I do know his work female friends, but outside of his work, no. My husband is a Jamaican man, and you know Jamaican men are very popular with women. So, uh, no, he does not. Not that I know of. If I did, I probably wouldn't allow it. So, I'm very strict. I'm very territorial. No. Yes, they are. Women are attracted to them for some reason. They have an aura. Not all of them, though. They have an aura, but not that I know of. He wouldn't let me introduce to them because it can't happen. So it wouldn't be able to happen, not in my book. So he knows me. He knows that no. Yeah, some of it's not just the accent, it's something about them. But don't let me get on them, Nero, because you're like the type of man that is just there's a stigma when it comes to Jamaican men. They're very difficult to deal with. I remember I went to the DR and then me and my friend, we were walking by like a pool and you just heard these, they look Hispanic, but they sounded like they were from the US and they were just dogging Jamaican men. I felt bad because I know that all my Jamaican men are not bad. They have some good, but the stigma that they have is not good. They just have this, you can listen to the music, listen to how they sing, but they do have good Jamaican men. They do. The stigma that people have out there is not good. Jamaican men are providers and protectors, but I just want my Jamaican men out there to stop letting other cultures use and abuse them. A Jamaican man will treat another culture better than he treats his own culture, but they are providers and protectors, and they need to be careful how other cultures treat them. That's all I have to say. I don't really talk about relationships on here, but there is a stigma. I do talk about relationship. I just don't like to talk about mine. It's because I don't want my my husband will see and tell me not to talk about our relationship on here. So we can talk in general, but I won't talk. I'll talk with the past, like what happened in other relationships. But my current one, not really. I'll give you bits and pieces, but it's personal. So all I know is when you're married, guys, it's very challenging. Oh my God, Nero, that is so funny. So you think no, so you think no man is faithful then, pretty much. Is that what you're saying? You're saying no man is faithful because I don't believe in that. I don't agree with that. Because a man is there's always some type of attraction to a man especially if the man is like a handsome man. The outside women sometimes tend to look on the outside, and you have to get to know the person first. That's why I said some friends, even you have to be careful of your friends. Like, say I'm married and I have single friends, I have to be careful because they'll look inside my relationship and they'll want my husband, and it's like you don't know what you're signing up for. You don't know what goes on in a relationship. But it's very funny. That is funny, Nero. That is a funny thing. So he's pretty much saying no man is faithful then, because that's what he's pretty much saying. He's pretty much saying no man is faithful, because once you're attached, trust me, the women are going to be attracted to you. They are. But there's nothing wrong with people being attracted to. If you're a good looking person, yes, people are going to be attracted to you, but it's what you do with that attention. Okay, I have to go look at him because I don't keep up with the comedians like that. But I think I know who Bill Mayer is. Like, his face is popping into my head. Um, but that is a funny joke. It's funny, but that's funny. No good men out there. And so that's funny that you would say that. So that would be the next topic. But yeah, guys, it's okay to be friends with the opposite sex. Well, I'm very much, once you're older, like I'm older, I don't get how people don't learn their lessons in life about having boundaries and respect. As an older woman, I don't think I would, cheat on my spouse. I don't think I'll do that. It's too much of a headache. Well, it is funny. That's a funny joke. Trust me. I'm like typing it. I'm reading what you said and it's really funny. He's basically saying no man is loyal. Hi, Body Pearsons. How are you? I'm doing good. It's pretty cold here. I hope it's warm where you are. Yeah, that was a funny joke. I read it. It was funny. But I don't agree with the fact that, I've had a lot of arguments with a lot of people that say, no man, there's no good man. But that's the next topic, so I don't want to talk about it today. So, Near, are you saying no man is loyal until he's really good looking? So he's saying, so you're saying unless he's really good looking. Nero, there's people who are not good looking who are not loyal. Trust me. I know a few. Like, you'll be surprised, you know? You'll be surprised. Body Pearsons, you're so funny. Okay. You guys can hear me now? For funny, Nero. I'm okay, Body Pearsons. I am very much okay. So, yeah, that's a stigma. I think any guy can, a guy have a certain rapport or I'm sorry, a certain aura, a girl will be attracted to him. He doesn't even have to have like what did they say, a face card? He can have like a personality trait that a girl is attracted to, you know? So you just have to be careful who your friends are. Have boundaries if you're in a relationship. And some people don't even allow. I know couples that they don't allow it. Um they don't be friends with the opposite sex. So, and I understand because a lot of people tend to be unfaithful. A lot of people tend to take it too far. Me personally, hmm, I don't know. At this age, no, I would not take it too far, you know? To each your own. You have to know what's good for your relationship. I think you have to set boundaries and you have to trust your partner. And for partners who are controlling, they don't want their spouse to have any opposite friends. Sometimes they don't even want their spouse to hang out with girlfriends. They just want to control their spouse. And that's just a control freak, a control partner that is just questionable. If someone is trying to control you so bad, then they are doing something behind. Crazy. Is it okay now? Yeah, I don't think it's the best idea. So I have a best friend that she is she's my good friend. So some of my friends are single. And you're right about that, Godspeed. I agree with you because my friends knew me single as well. So they knew the type of girl I was and how much fun we had when we go out, you know? We would just dance with people. We would just be fun. Okay, I'm so sorry about that, Nero. It froze because something is going on with the Wi-Fi. And I hope you guys stay on because I have more chat left in me. So I wanted to respond to Godspeed's comment. So I agree with you a little, but if I had friends when I was single and now I'm married, then I can't just let my friends go because they're single now. But like when I went to DR with my friend, there was men flocking us like crazy. And I had to say, "Oh, I'm married." Like, no, I can't constantly. But of course, she could hang out with them because she's single, she can do whatever she wants. And I would have to say, I'm married. You guys, no, no, no. But a guy would flock whether or not. And then I have another friend who we knew each other before I was married, and then I had an ex, so she knew me. I'm saying exes, my friends knew me for about like 20 plus years. So I was not always married or in a stable relationship every time. So we used to have fun, especially in our 20s. It was a blast. I look back and they said when I got in a relationship, I changed. Obviously, you have to change. I can't be the same girl like I was when I was single. I have to be more settled. I have to weed out the negative attention, and I can't go out and dance with people when I'm in a relationship. I can dance, but I can't have people come grinding, and that's not acceptable. And so that's why I don't even go out, because I don't like when I go out, guys try to reel me in and talk to me. I'm married, so I can't do that. So if my husband is not going there, I'm not going. I will go out with my friends, but I'll say, um, yeah, my friend says I change because I can't do that. So, I can have fun with you guys. Yes, I'm not saying I'm a boring person. I can go out and I can dance and not dance with a guy. I know how to do that. But when we were in our 20s, it was fun. We were single at one point, and we all went through some crazy relationship things. A lot happened. We all grew together, went through stuff together. Some of us was to were single relationship. It flip-flop for most of us, you know and then some of us had babies. We all had babies around the same time. But they'll say I changed because now, I barely go out. And it's because, when you have children and then you have a spouse, you have to stay in. My husband he doesn't like how I act when I drink, and I don't like how I act when I drink either. So I rather not go out and drink. I'm way too friendly. If I'm like this talking and I'm friendly like this, can you guys imagine when I drink? It's like elevated, or it's on a different level. So I rather stay home and just stay with my family. I'll go out, but once in a while. But I do agree with you with uh when you're married, you should hang out with married friends. I'm not saying that you can't have single girlfriends, but it's kind of like a recipe for a disaster, because you have to act a certain way. You have to respect your spouse. And then, your single friend, obviously, they're entitled to talk to different people. But when a guy comes over, like say he comes over and he's with his friend and he's trying to get with your single friend, no, you can't do anything with that guy because you're married. Like, you have to say no, you know? And so that's sometimes the issue, but it's your boundaries. If you know yourself as a person, like I know myself as a person, so I can't be phased. I can't be moved because I already had my fun. My fun days are over. I already had my fun. I've been there, done that. I could tell you guys some stories, but that's a story for another day. Yeah, I'm very safe. I don't really do anything. I'm pretty much boring. Like, I have friends, but it's the same set of friends. It's not anyone new. That's why I'm saying my friends who they've been in relationships, I can't just let them go because they're not married, but excuse me, our time together is kind of different, or the relationship shifted a different way. It just definitely changed, but also you change. So if you know people from when you're in your 20s and now you're in your 40s, life is different. I personally, with the things that you go through in your life, you become a different person, especially if you go through some type of trauma like breakup and stuff like that, or things that you couldn't imagine you would go through. You went through with these friends and they know. So a lot of us have gone through a lot and things just change. You know, we were young, wild, and free at one point, and then we weren't free, and now we're just more mature now. So if you're still like 40, if you're the same way when I met you at 20, it will be different because you cannot have the same access to me because I'm totally different. I'm more wiser, I'm different. You know, You guys are different, right? You're different from when you were in your 20s. I don't know your ages, but you definitely could have me as a friend, Nero, because I'm a very good person. I don't really, I protect my friends. I'm very loyal to my friends, but I also have issues with friends too, because I feel like I'm misunderstood. But I feel like, how I'm talking about opposite sex friends. I feel like some of my male friends, and this may sound bad. If my girlfriends are on here, I'm so sorry. Don't get offended, but sometimes I feel like I have better friends with males than with females. It's just weird to me because guys are not catty, they don't compare. It's not a competition. And sometimes you have that in friendships. They're not catty, it's not a competition. They accept you for who you are. And so that's what I like. You accept me for who I am. You're not catty. They don't, you can say certain things and they don't hold grudges. Godspeed, why do you always retract your statements? They say a lot of guys take longer to get older. A lot of guys they don't grow up until they're like 45 or so. Well, I feel my age, but I sometimes wish I had time for more wish I had time for more fun. So I I'll try to have time for more fun, you know? The job thing is not fun, Nero, but also you don't have any kids. They're not a secret. Yeah. You don't have any kids, so you probably have time to yourself, but life in general is very complex, very difficult, especially if you have like kids. Well, my situation is very different because I'm a female and I'm surrounded, well, you guys are guys, but if girls ever come on here and listen to my life, I'm a female, very feminine female, very girly girl, but I'm surrounded by masculine energy in my household. So things are very difficult for me sometimes because sometimes I have to go out with my friends for that, girly power, go out with my sisters, hang out with my mom. I have to do it because I need that feminine energy and that girl power. Nero, if you just chill and listen to music all day, you sound like a retiree. That's my dad. He's retired. And so all he do sometimes, especially when it's cold now, he sit and listen to music. He likes reggae. He likes music. So, I mean, I don't want to sit and listen to me. I love music, but I can't sit and listen to it all day. I like to be active. So if I didn't have to work, if I didn't have to, Race kids, I would be traveling all over the world. Well, honestly, guys, people think I'm younger than I am. I feel like I don't feel like I said I feel my age, but I sometimes feel like a younger person too, because when I'm speaking here, I don't think I sound like a 43-year-old at all. I don't sound like an older woman. Yeah, you're as old as you feel. That's the saying. You're as old as you feel. Well, you're old as you feel. You guys are old as you feel. If you feel that's your age, then you feel it. You know, they always say age ain't nothing but a number. It's a number. You're as old as you feel. I know I like to have fun. I like to go out with my hubby. I'll go but the partying scene is so different. I don't really like clubs, but I do go out, you know? I do go, I do have fun. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I have fun. And so that's what my friends, they say me staying home is kind of different. If you go to Las Vegas, Las Vegas, I was gonna say Nero. If you go to where did I go? Is it Fremont Street in Las Vegas? They have a lot of free metal shows, but you have to get there. They have a lot of metal rock. I think I listened to, is it rock from the 90s? Because where I grew up in Connecticut. So um they start with a A. What's the name of that group that start with a? They start with a A. And they have black hair. I can't remember them. Godspeed. So my husband, if you see him, you would not tell his age. So to me, most Jamaican men are like that. Like they're not immature, but yes, Aerosmith. Yes, that I love their music. Well, yes. How did you guess that? Yes, I like them. I love a few of their songs. But yeah, me and my hubby, when we go away or together, people are very surprised when we tell them our age because they want to take our pictures and they think we're this young couple. So it's like, yeah, we stay young. You have to travel, go out. I'm not saying I don't go out and party. I do party. I like house parties, or if you're doing a cookout, I'll dance and stuff. But the clubs, I'm not a club girl. If we go to brunch, yes, I'm getting up and I'm dancing, I'm having fun because life is about having fun. It's not about it's not all serious. Yes, you have to be serious, but you have to also take time to unwind and have fun. And that's what make you live longer. He does, Nero. He does, and then he wear the eyeliners and everything. He does, but he do have I don't wanna something like that. I like that song. I can't sing, but I like that song. That one. It's like in the on the top of my head, on the tip of my tongue. But Godspeed, I feel the same way as you. I don't think I ever want to be that old lady either. And sometimes it's like I question myself. It's like, do I remember I spoke about dressing? Do I dress this way? Do I dress that way? I dress modest. Do I dress this way? But my mom, she's very modest, but she said I should wear whatever I want, dress how I want to. And I don't want to be old either. I don't want to look old. I'm very mature, I handle my responsibilities, but I don't want to look old either. Sometimes I do feel sad because I look back on my 20s and, all those years were fun. I don't know those group. So Fremont Street is not an arena, Nero. It's just a street where um they have free concerts. They had a lot of metal bands. Oh, Nero does. Okay. That's why don't you guys come on my live? You guys are afraid? I don't know a lot of metals, but I know in the 90s I listened to those type of music because they were trending in the town that I grew up in. So, Godspeed, you were on for like 1 second. But yesterday there was a lot of distraction here, so now it's not so much of a distraction because my kids, they'll come in and out, but they know they're okay. On the weekends, it's okay. Okay, sure. Sure, but at this stage in my life, okay, so I like old school reggae and R&B. Sometimes the songs you guys see me play on my shorts or those type of music that I like. So you guys can pretty much tell the type of music that I like with my shorts. R&B, reggae, gospel. I like some country, but if you grew up from the 90s in Connecticut, you know what type of music a girl like me listen to. Especially, I'm Jamaican, so we like different types of old school music. Any type, Celine Dion. I like, what was her name? I can't, Sarah McLaughlin. You know that song Angel? That was popular. Um, there was a lot of music. Okay, European pop. Yeah, I like Calypso too, but I hate dancing to Calypso. They move too fast. And I don't feel like you have to whine that much, but you I guess people can do what they can, but yeah, reggae, I love reggae. Okay, Nero, leave it in the comments and then I'll know what to listen to. And then next time, if I remember, because you know what, Nero, what I've been doing lately, which I'll talk about it. I've been looking up Finland a lot. And you know what? I always mention to you that I did not know about Finland. And actually, I did know about Finland because there's a guy that I follow. He posted it maybe a year or two ago about the things to do in Finland. He's a big travel guy. As of course I'm black, so I look up safe places for black people to travel to. And he was saying how he went to Finland and around Christmas time. So I've been researching Finland. I've been checking out black people in Finland and on TikTok, on YouTube. So it looks like it's a cool place to live. I just don't like that it's cold like here, but I'll talk about it in one of my lives. Nira, I don't even know if I like that type of music, but I'll definitely listen to it. I'll definitely listen to it. Have you ever listened to Reggae Nero? Because you know who you sound like? You sound like my friend from work. But he's married to a Jamaican woman. So I always tell him, you're strange. Like, you're so opposite. Like, how are you even married to a Jamaican? But yeah, I'll try to listen to it, Nero. But you should also allow positive music in your life, okay? You should also always allow positive music in your life, but I'll definitely watch it later. Oh, wow, really, Godspeed? I don't think it gets that hot. So I feel like since Nero's been raving over it, it might be a destination I'll visit. I don't know, guys. I used to love to travel, but with everything going on, I'm kind of well, I get anxious when I get on the plane, even though I love to travel, but I still get anxious. I get anxiety, you know? I'll definitely look into it, Nero. I'll try to listen to it tonight. So, how are you guys preparing for this cold? Are you guys, I, yeah, I was watching Finland looked like a pretty nice place to visit. So, we'll see if I can. What's fake? Oh, the weather. Why don't you guys come on live? You guys don't want to come on live. But you think the weather is really fake, Godspeed, because people are going crazy and it's very, 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 very cold. It was like 10 degrees. It's 10 degrees outside pretty much. I don't feel like the big storm is fake, honey, because people are going crazy. It was very cold for me, but like we're used to this cold. I've been in this cold climate for about 30 plus years now. So I'm used to it. -2 degrees last night. I keep myself cozy and warm. In the winter, the only thing that I like in the winter is that we stay home and it's cozy and warm. In the summer, I like to be outside. That was cold. You're on the Bitcoin story. I think we can talk one day, we'll talk about wealth and money. And then once we talk about that, you can tell us the Bitcoin story. I didn't even look up the Bitcoin story yet because I don't think I'm into big. Yeah, that's what me and the attendant at the station, we were talking today, and he was talking about, wealth. We were talking about everything and how, he can't get a job due to the new immigration laws. He has an engineering degree and he cannot get a job. Okay. I'll look up Bitcoin, but I I don't know, Nira. That is like a lot. I'm not saying we shouldn't chase wealth. We should, but it's like what happened to other people may not happen to you. And I'm not saying it can't happen to you. I don't want to be negative, but yes, if you want to be a billionaire, you have to ask yourself, why do I want to be a billionaire? What will I do when I get $1 billion? Who will I help? What is my purpose? Okay. I'll watch it. I'll watch it. I didn't know that his brother is an actor as well. 3.7. I could do, I'll take one. I'll be fine with 1 billion. Okay. Oh, million. Yeah. If I had that, I would be happy. Okay. Okay. I understand, Nero. Well, I will pray that we all become um millionaires and billionaires. Maybe we'll, in the years to come, we'll talk about it. Everyone on this live, I hope we become millionaires and billionaires, because I feel like you guys are good people and you'll help people. And I feel like it's what you do with your wealth. Okay. Nero, that sounds complex. So I will have to, we can talk about that in another live because I feel like it's about money and wealth. It's about money and wealth. Oh, you're supposed to build a business on it. Interesting. I'll look into it. I'll definitely look into it. So, Nero, I don't know your age, but you're single, right? You're single. So, I feel like if someone is single and they don't have any kids, there's so much resources for you to get rich. No, it's not like yeah. There's so much resources for you to get wealth because you just have yourself to respond for. You have no one else to respond for. So you have the opportunity. Nothing should be holding you back. It's either you go to school to do something that you know for sure when you graduate, you'll get that money, you'll get the finances the money or the income that you need, or you do a few jobs. I watched this guy on YouTube. His name is Bradley on a Budget. He lives in my state and he's single and he has made over, he said he saved over $200,000 liquid cash last year. He only, because he was so frugal, he worked different odd jobs. I always talk about it because for some reason he's popping in my For You page for some reason. I don't know why. Yeah, you do have a lot. I think when you're single, you just have to be a goal getter, a goal getter. Goal getter. You just have your time. So and I shouldn't judge. I'm not judging, but I can't comprehend people who are single with no kids who are struggling. Like I cannot comprehend it because at 16, I had my first job at 16. And then when I was 18 or 19, when I had a break from college, I had two jobs. And then during college I work study. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities. If I was single, I would, I'm not saying I'm not doing well. I'm doing good. Like I'm okay. Goal getter, GOAL, goal. Not go getter, goal getter. And Nero, why don't you have time if you're single with no kids? You have to make time. What's holding your time up? Why don't you have time? You have plenty of time. I think your fear and your mind, Nero, is holding you back. Your fear, maybe you don't see yourself, getting what you really need. I don't know. I think your fear is holding you back. And sometimes we do that because there's a test that I have to take, and I study, 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 and I hate to fail because I don't really fail. I do very well, but I'm getting older, so it's kind of very different. It's very different, very difficult. So I have not signed up for the test because I refuse to get a bad score. So I feel like no, Nero, I'm using Goal Getter, Goal, Goal Getter. I know Goal Getter is a word. You're a goal getter, but in this case, I'm using goal, Goal getter. So I'm using the right term, but I get what you're saying. I'm saying you should be a goal getter. Go towards your goal. That's what it means. Google it. You're so funny. I know I'm Jamaican, but I know what I'm saying. I'm pretty much Americanized. I grew up here. So I'm not talking about a go getter, go get what you want. Yes, you do have to be a goal getter, but your goals, goal getter, take care of your goals. Don't be afraid. Don't let your fear hold you back. Kioma, you have church. You're so thank you for coming in. But Kiyomi, you're so lucky you have church. It's freezing cold here. We're supposed to have a snowstorm and we can't go to church because no one will be able to leave their houses for a couple days. We'll see. It's on the news everywhere of about what a bad ice storm it will be. So I'll be home. I won't be driving. Yeah, so that's what I mean, Nero, like your goal. Don't let your fear hold you back. And I know you're okay. So you can't worry about what your father thinks. And I think that holds a lot of people back. The trauma their parents cause, and you know just their parents not making them feel like they're good enough. You cannot let that hold you back because you have your own life to live. Whatever your father thinks does not matter. Because if you're an older person and your father is not taking care of you, you don't live in your father's house. He's just somebody. Yes, he's your parent, but still, what he says does not matter. You shouldn't let him tell you what your life should be. If he's a bad parent, he's a bad parent because you should always uplift your kids. You always should let your kids feel like they're more than enough because your kids are a reflection of you. So don't worry about what your father think, Nero. What you need to do is just show your father that you're better than him, and whatever he thinks of you is not true. So I feel like you're a single person and you need to go get what you need. You're focused on Bitcoin, but what else is there that you can do? What else can you do to fulfill yourself? I don't know what career you're in or if you can go back to school or what you're doing. I don't even know your age because you never mention your age. Are you born in 1983? Is that your birthday, 5283? Well, some parents, Nero, they just don't know how to be parents. And so to me, once you don't know how to be parents, you weren't, you know how you guys say sometimes you feel like you're in your 20s. Well, some men, they have kids and they're mental, they're chronological age change, but their mental, their change. I don't know if I said that right. But their mental does not grow up. They stay at a younger age. Some men, they just never grow up. They're like boys. And I don't want to, I say some because I'm not talking about all men, but some of them, they just don't grow up. And so that is a problem. He can't treat you the way he should because he's not a man himself. he's a kid in a man's body, because an adult will never make their kids feel less than. A true mature adult thinks about what they say before they say it, and they don't belittle their kids, you know. They don't belittle their kids. They make their kids feel like they're more than enough. And then when you guys have kids, make sure you do the same. Treat them like they're number one. And that's why I love my parents, because my parents, they gloat over me. They think I'm more than what I am, trust me. They just they just speak life into all their children, not just me. They have six, seven, six kids, and they speak life into them. So, for all the parents out there who is treating your kids, and I talk about this all the time because I see it around me, people who are not grown, who are not, like, their mind is not mature, will never ever treat children right. That's why there's a lot of abused children, a lot of children who are neglect. People say whatever they want to kids. Kids are very, their mind is very immature, very young, I would say, juvenile. So you really have to be careful with what you say to children. Children get affected a lot, and it you have their confidence is broken when they have a parent who is trying to break it. And I feel that parent is like a bad parent, kind of like a evil person. If you have a kid and you just want to break their confidence, for what? Why would you want to break a child's confidence? Children are innocent. They're innocent, innocent, innocent. You know, if you have children and you watch them, they're innocent. So you definitely have to show them the right way and teach them. You have to nudge them and teach them. It's hard with kids. It's very hard, you know, and when you have a bad parent, then it's sad. So, but if you had a bad parent, you have to overcome it. Try to get therapy or something. Overcome it so you can become better. Or you can throw it in your dad's face that I'm better than you. Or he might even be proud of you that you become successful. But besides the Bitcoin, do you want to do anything else? Is there anything else that you want to do besides the Bitcoin? Is there anything else that you'd like to do beside the Bitcoin? And why don't you guys want to come on live, guys? You guys are shy. Is there anything that you'd like to do? So you spent 7 years with Bitcoin and you're still not one of the millionaires? You're dedicated, Nero. I thought a lot of people who had Bitcoin in like 2020 and 20 during COVID became. What cousins, Godspeed? You're supposed to come on. What were we supposed to talk about? Okay, I understand, Nero. Well, I feel like ultimately you probably will, it will happen for you. Just stick with it if you know that you're doing the right thing. Sometimes wealth, it doesn't take one day. It takes, you have to climb a ladder. You know, you have to climb that ladder. Some of us it doesn't, we have to go through a lot of tears, a lot of, you know, if you want to be a millionaire, it will happen. You have to, people, a lot of people are saying what manifests, you manifest your riches and it will come. Okay, I understand. Okay. Nira, are you in a relationship? You're not answering me. Why am I so nosy? Oh gosh, I'm very inquisitive. So you did say before that you're with a partner, right, Nira? My cousins. I wonder if my friend wanted to come on. Okay, well, I hope it will work out for you. I hope it will work out. I have to pre-schedule people before, so I'll see who wants to come on. My friend, that's the guy that I talk about. I always ask him and his wife to come on. Yeah, what Nero is talking about is too complex. So, and he talks about it all the time. I think we need a session for it to talk about it. So, because I have not really looked into Bitcoin, I do the stocks and stuff. And the Bitcoin that I have invested in, it's not anything to make me a millionaire as well. But you know what? We're millionaires. We're already millionaires. Once your spirit is rich, you're already rich. You know, yes, I think if Nero joined the live and explained it in person, then I won't be so perplexed. You have to talk about it because you know what, Nero? For Bitcoin, I feel like what you're talking about with Bitcoin is different than what envision I have envisioned in my head. And it's like a different Bitcoin. Okay. There's a lot of ways for you to. Okay, I'll watch a video. You know what? Tonight I'll watch a video, or maybe over the weekend when I'm stuck in this cold house. I can't, my house is not cold, but when we're stuck and can't drive anywhere, you know, I'll definitely look into it. Anything else you guys want to talk about besides Bitcoin? We've established that a man and woman can become friends. A man and woman can become friends even if they're they're in a an opposite, what am I saying? Male and female can be friends if they're off the opposite gender. Even in a relationship, you just have to set boundaries. You know? You have to set boundaries. So, Nira, you really want me to learn. You should go on live and explain it, Nero, because you can help people, get on the path. Maybe you guys will become rich. So that will be my topic next time. Why are people in America chasing wealth? Are you chasing it just for yourself, or do you have like an end goal? Like, are you trying to help people, help the community? Why are so many people chasing wealth? I'm not saying you shouldn't be wealthy. You should, because it breaks a lot of generational curses. But to what ends, to what means? And I might sound silly, but you do have to think of it, because when you become wealthy, you want to become a millionaire, a billionaire, you'll meet people who are not nice, who will attach themselves to you. So you very much have to be careful. When you chase wealth, you have to really know why you're chasing it and why you want that. That's a lot of baggage. I'm not saying I don't want to be rich. I'm already rich, actually. I'm rich in spirit, so I feel like I'm already rich, and like Godspeed say, I just want to be free. I just want to be stress free. I don't want a lot of, I already have a lot of responsibilities. If you're a mother in a household with all boys, you're surrounded by boys, you know how complex that can be. I talk about it all the time. Or you're a wife, if you're like the first daughter, like me, you're the first daughter. So if you're the first daughter, your parents call on you to do a lot of things. If you're somebody who's just very, a lot, you're independent, a lot of people will call on you to do things, or you have to solve other people's problems. So when I'm that type of person, and I'm already a overthinker, somebody who thinks way too much, then I just want to be free, you know? I just want to enjoy life. I just want to travel and enjoy the world. I just want to sit and relax. And even talking to you guys, like, this is okay for me. It's like relaxing and stress free. But Nero is adamant on us learning about this Bitcoin. So he is adamant. So, okay, just leave it there. And you know what? I will look it up. Later, I'll watch it and I'll listen to the song. Next time, I'll have a paper and pen so that I can write things down, like a notebook. And my notebook is upstairs, so I'm not getting up to go it. But it will still be in the chat. So I'll listen to the song, and then I'll listen to that video. Yeah, you are. I do understand you're adamant about you learning, which that's very commendable. I really like that about you, that you want to learn about it and you want it to make yourself successful. So I really like that about you, because with me, I want to learn things too, but I'll learn it and then I get bored and then I move on. If I can't solve a problem quick enough, then I will just let it go, which is so weird. Or I'll have somebody help me solve it. So I don't know. I think I have ADHD, adult ADHD, which is weird, you know. But I commend you, Nero. That's very good. Don't give up and keep going. Once you get there, you'll let us know. Well, hopefully you can in the future. Hopefully you can. Hopefully you can. I'll have to talk about chasing wealth and how it's affecting. Okay. So what do you think other people do in your life? And everything like what? Okay. So near, why don't you connect to the live? You don't have to show your face, but you can't go on to the live and talk to us to let us know. But I'll definitely look into it. I definitely will. I definitely will look into it because it seemed very interesting. So what else are you guys want to talk about? There's something interesting since we're on the topic of okay, Nira. Nira, I don't know. Sometimes I don't know your temperament. So because you're typing and then I'm talking, so I can't. It's like you're texting and I'm talking, so you can hear my tone and you can hear like my mood kind of, but you're typing, so it's like okay. So that's what I see. I even forget sometimes what I do. Okay, what I do. Sometimes I have to go back to the live and see what I said or okay. I still will research to see what it's like. I'll look into it. I might not understand it, but I will look into it. Okay, so that's your hobby. You listen to European metal music and learn about Bitcoin. Do you do anything else outside of working? But I thought they said Bitcoin was gonna crash. Like that was the first one. They said it's not gonna be sustainable. But I'll look into Bitcoin because every time I hear about Bitcoin, they are saying it's not a sustainable coin. Like it's not stable. So Godspeed, what do you like to do because you're here? And guys, don't forget to like my live. Do you guys have TikTok as well? I saw that StreamYard can link the two different platforms. Like you can be on live for both platforms, but I don't think TikTok was on there. So, okay, I understand. Why do you only have YouTube? Okay, I get that, Nero. Because they got rich, they don't even care anymore. They just got their money and ran with it. That's true. Now, what do you consider rich, what do you consider rich? Because everyone's definition of rich is different. What do you guys consider get rich? Or rich, I'm sorry. Oh, so okay. So you don't want Facebook anymore? You don't miss your Facebook friends? And why aren't you signed up for TikTok? I'm just being nosy. So there, yeah, a lot of people got lucky for Bitcoin. But what's meant for you is meant for you. If you're meant to be rich, it will happen. Okay. Good for you. Take the next step. But I don't have Facebook. I do have it, but I don't go on to Facebook. Facebook gives me a lot of anxiety. 6 million US dollars? I don't believe that, Nero. Godspeed, you're very funny. So it's been a while. 6 years and you haven't been on? Is there a reason why? You don't have to disclose all your disclaimer. Don't disclose your business. 6 million US? Then there's no point in you going, okay, well, they won't find you here because I'm not that important. Wow. Well, be careful. Be careful. Be careful, okay? That's all I hope for. Well, you're probably that friend that the girls them want. Okay, Nero. Okay. Well, my next live, I'll probably talk about how to get rich in the US. There's so many ways to get rich. And how can you talk about that when you're not? Well, in some people's eyes, they consider me, I'm not rich, but I'm rich in spirit. I'm rich in spirit. How to get rich, yeah. Nero, how to get rich. I have rich people in my family, but I can't express. I have a lot of rich people in my family. I think I'm content. I don't I don't know. I have to think about why do I really want to get rich? I know why, but to what extent? And I need to know what amount would you be content with? Oh, you did let me know 160,000 US. That's achievable. You have to do what that guy do, work plenty different jobs. You can make 160,000 in 1 year. You can. You just have to probably always be at work. If who's hiring? I know you guys have a job. Please stop. There's ways to be, I'll research, guys. I'll research. I'm sorry, Godspeed. That takes a toll on you. Do you have the weekends off at least? Do you have the weekends off? Near, I'm gonna look into that for you. If you guys go on live and talk, why don't you guys try YouTube? Even though I'm not monetized, maybe you guys will. I don't know. That guy, you guys have to follow him, Bradley on a budget. Like he talks about the different jobs, the odd jobs you can do. He made over 200,000. Okay. I thought you said you work it now. I'm sorry. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do to get what you want. That's why I said, guys, you have to sacrifice. Sometimes you have to sacrifice in order to get those riches. Sometimes you have to sacrifice because that's the only way. You have to sacrifice. So you've never worked 12-hour shifts before? I've worked 12-hour shifts. If they need me to work it, I have, but not anymore. I'm too old. I need to relax. I need to enjoy my life. Okay. So you just go on and listen, Nero. You guys can't be afraid to talk because YouTube is made for everyone. I know you guys want to stay hidden, but it's like as long as you're not giving out your personal information, then I feel like you'll be safe. People who you have to just have discernment, even though it's a little bit hard to have it when you're on the internet. It's hard to have discernment because you're not seeing people's faces. But Nero, it's not that expensive to go to London. I know, right? I don't think it's expensive to go to London. No, I've never been to London, but it's like with London, every year I've looked up going to London for my birthday. And it's like the weather in London have deterred me not to go to London. Like I've been very, very turned off by the weather. But every year when my birthday comes, I look up London, but I'm very last minute for my birthday. So I'll look it up, and then because I waited too long, it gets expensive. But if you plan ahead, it's not that expensive. Now, I could go by myself, but with my entire family, yes, it will add up. It will be like a lot of money. But say I'm going on a girls trip and it's just me, my expense for myself, then yeah, I could. You just have, when you go on trips, you just have to learn how to budget. So you had a major house repair, at least you can write off the repair. I've never been to London actually, but hopefully maybe we have a surprise for you this year. But with trips you have to learn how to go on a budget. When you're traveling by yourself, it's easy, but when you're traveling, you know, like me, I have a big family. If everyone is coming, it will be like very pricey. Those A London trip I would have to, oh my, Nero, that's a lot. Your basement collapse. Wow. That's the thing with houses. Houses are so, you know, they take up your money. They just, you have to be careful when you have houses. They take, they'll take up your money. But Nero, why would you have to, um, did you call your insurance? Why did it just collapse? That you couldn't call your insurance, your home insurance for them to cover that? That's a lot for your basement to collapse. Yeah, Godspeed. You can join the chat. But yeah, a house renovation can take up a lot. Okay. I do apologize, Nero. I understand how you feel as someone who is a homeowner and have to do repairs sometimes. So I understand how it is. Your house takes up a lot of money, and they say we have to have, emergency savings for your home, but sometimes the expenses can be a lot. And with me, I own like another home. So can you imagine your own home and then things are happening at the other house? So story time, I paid for it was like a HVAC system to get fixed. And the guy who did the HVAC, he owned a business and he completely botched the job. And I paid a lot for the job. So every time, like the new owners, I mean, the tenants, like something was always wrong with it, you know? So I did it, I would say in about 2022. So an entire new HVAC system for the central air unit. And I did it in about 2022. And I don't remember the year I did it, but it wasn't that long ago. And then maybe a year after, there was an issue where it wasn't working. It was blowing hot air when it was supposed to blow cold air, or in the winter. It's like it was reversed. And then I called so many HVAC people and no one could solve the problem. Like, why was it doing that? Did you take, what type of loan did you take? A home equity? Um, s- yes, I know that about insurance, Nero. I had a friend who he owned a house. I don't know if I mentioned before, and I don't know if they let the fireplace, the fire, something with the fire and the entire house burnt down. But no one got hurt, but they did lose a lot of valuables. But the insurance took care of it and rebuilt their house in the same spot, and they still live in the same house. So sometimes in some cases, yeah, it's hard to get your claim covered, but um if it's legitimate, then they'll cover it. But yeah, insurances, yeah, they're very difficult. I get it. Like if you get in a car accident or stuff, they don't want to pay for it. Oh, I understand. Okay. Well, I'm happy you were able to get the loan and get your basement fixed, because some people, they're not even in that predicament that they can fix. A lot of people lose their home because of things like that. They'll lose a house because they don't even have the credit or the money to get a new loan to fix their house. So I'm happy you were able to get that to save your home. You know, I'm happy. So you have to be thankful for that. You have to be grateful for that, because some people are in like a very bad position where they're going to lose their home for emergencies like that. They won't even be able to get that emergency fund to help themselves. Well, I guess you missed it when the rates were like very low. A lot of people ran to it and got it, if you have equity in your home. But not I, not me, not me. But what was I saying? I was telling you about like a botch job that happened to me. So I fixed the HVAC unit, and then like a year after, it was not working, and it caused over, well, it wasn't as much as your basement. I would say a little over 5K. And I fixed it, but then I had to do it again. In like a couple of years, I had to do a new one because whatever the guy did, he it's like he stated it was a new unit, but it's not a new unit. And I couldn't find him after. It's like his business probably went down, but he wouldn't pick up our calls. He wouldn't do anything. And the new guy was just trying to find out, how did they wire the thing? Why isn't it working? But he didn't answer the phone at all. So we have to be careful about who we allow to do our home renovations. But he was referred to by a friend, like a really good friend, someone very, very close to me. So, but he was like a scam. No, I didn't hear in the news. I didn't hear that in the news. That's the thing. I was watching like a financial guy on YouTube. He teaches us about finance, and he was saying You know how home prices are like really, really went up. He was saying the best thing for some of us to do is just to sell our home and just get the equity, because some people home prices, if you bought it before a certain year, then it's like has doubled or tripled. Yeah, I understand it did. Yeah, it did since recent years, after I think, was it a few years ago? I think a few years ago. Oh, wow. I stay informed. I can teach you a lot about that, but I can't because of my career. I can't do that, but I know a lot about that. So, but I can't talk to you guys about it, which is so weird, you know? But I'm very informed because I did let you guys know I work in the home market industry. But yeah, you were able to help yourself, so that was good. You got yourself out of your little crisis. And it's good that they have other loans that could help you. Guys, you see I'm moving around. Where are you saying that? I don't know what area you're in. Not in CT, not in my state. Not in my state. Not in California. Oh yeah, well hopefully it will, hopefully you can pay it off soon. But was it a home loan that you got? No, it's not less here. We're like the same as New York. Well, I think New York is more expensive than us, but we're in the Northeast. Nothing in the Northeast is cheap. So you got a new mortgage, a new like a second mortgage? Okay. Yeah, the housing industry is so expensive. That's why a lot of people, they don't do single family homes. A lot of people are very wise where they do duplex. I think a duplex is way better, especially, I don't know your situation, but when you're getting income or your mortgage is being paid, I think when you have a duplex, then at least your tenant is paying for your mortgage if you get a new tenant, or you can start out that way. It always should be like an investment when it comes to home. I know a lot of people want the white picket fence, the American dream of having their own home, but a lot of people think your home is an asset, but your home, it really is an asset. But if it's not an investment property, it's a liability because you're not you're not gaining any income from it. So it really, if you do your books, your home is a liability if it's not an investment. You can't write a lot of things off when it comes to your primary home, but if you had a rental property, it will be good. So that's something that I can definitely teach people about. When you're buying a home, always invest first. And then when you gain money, like you know how you have equity in that investment home, then you can take out the equity and buy another home. So that's how it should be. We were all taught so wrong. Like single family homes are definitely it's a liability, and if you don't have the finances, or if you don't like some people, they actually if you're buying a single family home, some people actually use it as an investment where they do an Airbnb, they fix it up, they move it, and they move. Okay, so you did get a good price for your home. Okay, I get it. Right. I understand. But I'm just saying, when people are buying homes in general, I know people just want somewhere to live. But when you're thinking of a house, like I'm talking to people who are coming on my live or whoever, always think about your home as an investment, especially if you're somebody who's not you don't consider yourself rich, or you feel like you'll have to live from mortgage to mortgage. Your home should be an investment. It should be something that can help you in the future, you know? Like if like the prices for homes have pretty much doubled. So an investment can be like you sell the home and move to another home. You'll gain money from all the equity from your home. It's not about that. So if you keep thinking about you have a place to live, and then you keep talking about Bitcoin and then getting rich, but these are like some of the things that you can do, investing in homes to get you rich. But I get what you're saying. But think of the housing market, how it can help you. Oh, plumbing. What's up with the plumbing? With a home, there will always be issues as a homeowners. A home is like a liability. Hi, I'm good. How are you? So a home will be a liability. So you always have to, most of your money will be spent on fixing up your home. If you don't have a new house, most of your money will be spent on doing something around your home. So unless you're one of those people that don't, you just, okay. I will have a plumber check it, because that's not good. But yeah, with a home, there always going to be some type of issue. Plumbing leaks. Plumbing leaks? Yeah. There's always going to be an issue with a home, I'm telling you. Homes are just like cars. You have to maintain them. You have to maintain them, and you have to, they're just like cars, just like us. You have to maintain to, oh my God, Nero, that would freak me out. It's in New York. That would freak me out. That's a lot. That would definitely freak me out. I could not deal with that narrow because that would freak me out. Mm-mm. Okay, that's good. That's good, Nero. I'm happy that was taken care of. I'm happy that was taken care of. Yeah, when you have a home, it's a lot. I don't know, but I can't not have that in my home. I would freak out. I don't know if it's issues in it's common in certain places. I have no idea, but yeah, I hear people get it, but no one want to live with that. That is just too much. Oh my God, Nero, please. I can't think about that. Ugh, please, let's just change the topic. Let's talk about something different now. Let's move on. Guys, talk about something light, a light topic, something that's fun. It's Saturday night, you know, something light. Yes. Well, we see spiders here and we do not like it. Some of the spiders are so big. I don't know if that's just a Connecticut house or what, but we have the spider spray and stuff like that in the basement. I just don't like bugs. I just don't like bugs. So I I'll say I hate the cold, but the best thing about the winter is that I see no bugs. I see no animals. I don't know, near some people are just, you know, a lot of people want to be different. They want to be, that's just their personality. They want to be different. They just, I swear. Yeah, people want to be different. The things that people have as pets, it doesn't make any sense. And then a lot of people they get hurt by the animals that they're not supposed to bring in their home, you know? They get hurt. So they want to be different. The spiders that I see here, they're not tarantulas, they're like small spiders. They freak me out. Yeah, I don't like them. Ugh, I cannot stand spiders. I cannot stand animals in my house, like little bugs. I don't like spiders. I don't like flies. That's what I see, spiders. And then in the summertime, flies get on my nerves. Everything else is fine because they stay outside. We don't have any pets here, but my kids are dying. All my kids, They've been dying for like a dog, but I don't think I have the patience to take care of a dog because when dogs are like, children, you really have to take care of them. I've never, hopefully, we don't see tarantulas here. And we also see, like, here in the summertime, we see garden snakes. Oh my God. One time I opened up my garage and I just saw a garden snake at the garage door. I freaked out. I really freaked out. Oh my goodness. And then sometimes the garden snakes are like so, so big. One time, there was a big one in front of the house and it wouldn't move. It stayed like right at the house, in front of the house. Oh, that's the thing I don't like about the summer up here in Jamaica. We don't see all these animals that we see here. We don't see all these animals, but the only thing that I don't like about garden snakes don't attack you. And if garden snakes come in your house, they're not going to survive because they are outdoor pets or they're outdoor snakes. So now I just try to get things to keep those things off my yard. Like they say they have wolf piss and all those things, excuse my language, but they sell those things to, keep those things. I see deers, I see bears. It's just too much. The summer bugs are too much, and then you get mosquitoes because we have like there's a lot of trees in our backyard is woods. So you asked me would I ever move back to Jamaica, and because of the bugs, probably. Wolf spiders, I've never heard of wolf spiders. And here we have those things. I don't know if you guys heard of them. They're like Japanese beetles. They look like what do they look like? They look like ladybugs, but they're not ladybugs. But they have things that you can catch them from coming into your house. So it's just so many things that if you have bug phobia, I don't, I just don't deal with it. So the bugs that they have in Jamaica is flies, mosquitoes. Jamaica tend to have those big roaches. They're so so big. I think they have them in like Florida here or somewhere in the States, like the big flying roaches. I don't like that. And they have the mongoose in Jamaica. I think they have foxes. But the animals that we see here, like the big deers and the big bears, those animals are not in Jamaica. You don't have like an animal that could trample you. Jamaica have the dogs but those dogs are very smart. They're smarter than the dogs here, meaning they know not to come in your house. They just go from yard to yard. They pretty much know how to take care of themselves. But when they're ready to eat, they'll come to like in front of your house, like if you have a home, and they'll come and they'll wait for food and you give them. If you put a plate outside, they'll get the food and say like the dog is say like you give the dog a plate of food and you continue to give that dog food, then the dog will your home now will be their home, but they'll never go inside your house. They'll just wait for you to feed them and they'll protect your yard. So most of the dogs in Jamaica are not house dogs, but now in 2026 they're changing it to where people are now having the little dogs and then putting them, they're being raised in the home. Yeah, like the big cockroaches. If you go on Google, you might see them. I don't like to see that. And then the lizards, they have them in Florida. The lizards, and then you hear a lot of crickets. It's just, I'm not a bug person, guys. I just don't like bugs. I love the summer though. I really, really love the summer. But the bugs, as soon as the weather hit, you see the bugs. I cannot stand flies at all. They just, ugh, I don't like them. So I always get, um, ugh, I don't want to. We can change the topic now. You see, I'm in the basement. I had it very cozy and warm. It's like very warm down here, so that's why I'm here. Our basement have a different heat, like it's electric versus upstairs. And so everyone will come down here and just open the door. And it's like they have no, guys, men, you guys have no consideration. So now I have to get up. I can't deal with bugs. So in Jamaica, sometimes I'll just stay at the resort because when you're at the resort, it's like nothing, no flies, no mosquitoes, nothing. Sometimes you'll see like the cats walking on the lawn, but that's it. Yes. My basement is finished. It's in good condition. I'm in my basement now. Yeah, you guys, it's like my cozy spot. It's finished for the most part. It's a nice basement. That's what I wanted, a finished basement. I could not do the creepy basement, when I was looking for homes. Mm-mm. I can't do that. I can't. But of course, you can finish your basement if you have money. Oh, it's just utility. No, I have the boiler room is in another room where I have my kind of like a treadmill and a weights we can work out there. So I'll walk on my treadmill, you know. But I'm pretty down here. It's not a utility like we hang out here sometimes. But I really wanted when I was looking at home a walkout basement. Yeah, I would understand why Nero. If my basement collapsed, I would hate basements too. So, you know, I understand what you're saying. When I'm older, I think I just want a regular ranch house with no basement either, or just a basement. I don't believe in big houses because it takes a lot out of you. So I understand. I understand about your basement, but this basement is pretty much finished for the most part. It's finished. So if it collapsed, why didn't you get a new basement? Why didn't they just fix a new basement? And wasn't there a floor on top of your basement? So when you go downstairs, it's just a utility room. You can't ever do a basement. Was it finished before or was it an unfinished basement? Nero, let's change the subject now. Why don't you guys go on live? It seemed like Godspeed doesn't want to talk about basement, so we can talk about something else. Hmm. Oh gosh, you left and came back? But I thought you lived by yourself. Nero, I don't get you because if your dad is that way, why would you let him come to your house? Is it your and your father's house or your house? You talk about him, but you still love him, so it's okay. What do you mean? You think who's a kid, Nero? Right, because I don't get it. If you're, do you live with your dad? My life is just to talk. We're- Okay, so we're talking about now. What were we talking about? We can switch the topic now. Okay, give me a minute, guys. 1 minute. What were you guys yapping about? I'm back. I'm back, guys. If you guys go on live, you can talk, okay? You don't even have to type. Okay. Having a glass of wine. This place is nice if you guys are ever in Connecticut. Look, I can't, you guys can't see the name. Apricot Winery and Cider Company. I don't know what to talk about. Okay, I know what to talk about since I'm always talking about relationship. And you guys might think you guys are making my life look bad. I don't like that. Okay, guys, since we're talking about friendships and men and women, I don't know if you guys watch celebrities. What do you think about Papoose and Remy Ma and that lady? What's her name? Carissa Fields or Calissa? They're separated, but Papoose is dating a girl that's like he's 47, she's 30, so 17 years different. You live in New York. Do you know Remy Ma and Papoose? You don't listen to that type of music, so I don't know if you know them. But they're separated. And the media is like pushing them. Of course you would, Nero. Based on the music you're talking about, I don't think you'd ever listen to them. Because yeah, you're mute. No. So they're pushing her interfaces. And no, this is American rap people. They're from the 90s, but she's a boxer. The girl is a boxer and he's a rapper. And he was with Remy Ma. And they're pushing them in our faces, but he's still married. They're not like legally divorced, but they're pushing the relationship in our faces. And I think it's so weird. But I think Papoose is like a opportunist. I think you have to be careful of men like that. Like they're opportunists. They go for the next big female and then they cling to the next big female. So how do you not know Papoose and Remy Ma if you listen to American rap and they're from New York? Yeah, well, they are in the same, you know, they were popular. They're from the same decade as DMX. But I don't think Papoose was by himself. Was he in a group? I don't really know much about his music either, but I just know Remy Ma. Hi, how are you? I just know Remy Ma, but I don't know his music. His rap music I don't listen to. I'm just talking about the relationship, not so much his music. I'm just talking about the relationship, how he gets with girls who are up and rising. And excuse me, I think he's kind of like a narcissist. Because do we really think he likes Clarissa? Am I saying her name right, anyways? I'm doing good. How are you? I'm doing wonderful. How are you doing? Where are you located? In the US? Okay, you guys have to be nice in the live now because you thanks for being in my live and thanks for being, supportive. But I'm from the United States. I was born in Jamaica, but I now live in the United States. But I was just talking about how people push negative relationships into our faces, and people are okay with it because they're so obsessed with relationships. They push these toxic relationships in our faces where it's not okay. So that's why I mentioned before, don't idolize relationships, because idolize other people's relationship because they're not always the best. And guys, please don't forget to like my live when you come into the live. Don't forget to like the live. I understand. They were typos. That's fine. Mm-mm-mm. That's good. I understand. Okay. Thank you for clarifying that. Oh, okay. I know you guys seem cool people. You're both in New York and you both seem like nice guys, nice gentlemen. So I was saying how toxic relationships are placed in front of our faces, And you have to be careful that you don't look at a couple and say, "Oh, I admire that couple," because I don't feel like Papoose really liked this new girl. I think he's trying to use her. Excuse me. I understand. It's okay. Sometimes YouTube does that. Or do that. Nero. Papoose. Papoose, like mangoose, papoose. Godspeed. Can you spell it? I don't know. Like when I have the group chat, it won't allow me to do yes. That's him. Yep. It won't allow me to do a poll when I have the group chat. Not the group, like the link. Since you guys are not coming on the live when I put join the live, I will no longer be putting the link because no one is coming on the live. No one is coming on the live. Okay, I'm just talking about the relationships. So, what do you guys take on it? Do you think that he actually is into her or he's just chasing fame again? Remember, he chased fame with Remy, like when she was away and it was all about her. So he chased fame. I don't think he was faithful to Remy when she was behind bars. That's not true. He's a New Yorker, a New York man. No, he was not. I don't care what they're trying to feed us. He was not. Based on his personality, I don't think so. Based on how he operates, I don't believe so. You know, I just don't think so. But to each your own, I think this relationship that they're trying to push on us is very negative and very toxic. She's very young and she have no clue. You know, there's some men, especially older men who get with younger women, they just want to control them, use them as a pawn, manipulate them. They know how to, you know how Lauren Hill sing that song, stroking my singing his song. So he's singing his song and he's just pretty much manipulating this girl. She is very popular. She's doing great in boxing and he wants a piece of that fame. I don't think he likes her because when they're walking on the red carpet or something, I just notice how he does not treat her like a man would treat a woman when they're really into each other. When they were walking and like her arms were in they were walking, I think they were going to the VMAs and they were interlocking hands. It's like he didn't want to interlock hands with her. He had his hand in his pocket while she had her hands, between his arms, and he didn't seem like he wanted her hand there. So that body language, I was noticing that it did not seem like he was into her the way she's into him. So it's like it's for fame, or what he can get now from her. So younger women, you have to be careful. Be careful of who you let into your life, because a man will leech and attach themselves to you because you're doing good and you're getting up there. And in this case, he seemed like he's a narcissist. I don't care what anyone say. He seemed like he is. But she have to be careful. You can't, whether or not they're separated, they're not fully legally divorced. So when you enter a relationship like that, it's like I was mentioning yesterday, soul ties karma. It can be karma on her, because you're entering in a situation that is not over. It's not complete. He's going through a divorce with his wife. So you, as a young girl with no baggage, is just putting yourself into that situation. And she has no kids. So he have, like, what does he have, like two different baby mothers? I think two different baby mothers now, Remy Ma and another woman. And she have no kids. He's 47 and she's 30. So why are you attached to him? You shouldn't be attached to a guy like that. You should go find somebody who's 30 and somebody who is have no kids, somebody within your age group. But a lot of people, they admire celebrities. So to her, Papoose is probably a celebrity. To her, she probably feel good like she have Remy Ma's man, but you should never feel good about that. You should never feel good about doing that to a wife. Never feel good about doing that, because your karma will take you, and you'll have, like, not a good life after. But that relationship, it was like thrown in my face, so that's why I'm speaking on it. And it's the things that they're trying to throw into our faces, like saying it's acceptable. It's not acceptable to be with a man that is completely married, and then you're throwing it in our faces. No, it's not. It's not acceptable. I feel like we should have morals and values and respect the unity of marriage. Respect being married. And the media doesn't respect marriage. They just respect relationship, whatever looks good to the public. So at first, Remy Ma seemed like she was bothered, but she's not bothered now. But he seemed bothered because he's throwing the relationship in our faces, in Remy Ma's face, but she don't care. But guys, I just wanted to mention that because it's still their relationship, has nothing to do with us. But I thought it was kind of interesting, and that was what was in my head. Okay, so you guys can mention your take on it. Godspeed, what is your take on it? But Nero is like looking it up. And it's not funny either. You're looking it up, and it's not funny, but it's pretty, like, why would you put that in people's face? That is not a relationship to admire. I actually feel bad for her because I feel like she's being manipulated. You guys haven't. So I feel like she's being manipulated. And it's not good to manipulate others when you're entering in a relationship. It's good to have a mutual understanding and don't manipulate. But I feel like he's manipulating this young girl and she needs to be careful. You have to be careful. Like I mentioned, be careful who enters your life and be careful what you do. Be careful what you do and be careful who enters your life. So her name is Clarissa Shields. I mentioned her name wrong. It's Shields. So I mentioned it wrong, but he's still married. If someone is married, why are they promoting a relationship to us? Don't promote it until he's single. Don't promote it until he's single. But that's the lifestyle that America is going. They promote things that's negative and toxic, but we need to promote positivity. We need to promote healthy relationships, but stop promoting toxic things. Stop promoting things that does not suit us, things that does not build us up. Things promote. So if you're getting in a relationship, be careful who you enter your relationship. Be careful. And just that's not my take. That's my take on it. His current relationship though. You know? So Papoose was after DMX. I think wasn't he with no, he wasn't in Rough Riders, was he? He was not with Rough Riders at all. But I'm talking about his relationship, not him as a famous person, but I'm just saying because he is kind of, I guess people consider him famous, they're pushing this relationship in our faces, you know? Okay, I understand. Yep, I got it. I got it, Nero. I totally get it. You had to switch. Yeah, but ladies have to be careful about people like Papoose. He may look good, but like I said, he can be a warlock, like they say. And not all men are like that, but you have to be careful because why would you leech onto a younger girl when you're married? She's young. She's young. She have no kids. No, I don't know Disturbed. Nope, I don't know them. I do not know Disturbed. I'm so sorry. I don't know them. I'm just And I'm just saying, ladies, be careful who you attach yourself to because I talked about toxic and toxic is not good. Now, this type of toxic will make you look older than his wife. So look at Remy Ma versus look at, okay, I'll look into that. She looked younger than Clarissa Shields, and it's because of the stress Papoose is putting her through. So we have to be careful. Okay, I'll look into that. I'll look into that. Let's see. Is that Papoose Nira? I don't know what that is. Nira, can you type the song you wanted me to look up again? And also there's something else that you wanted me to look up. Something about Bitcoin. Because I don't see it in the chat anymore. Is that a rap song or a metal song? It's 7 degrees outside. Can you believe it's really ridiculous? It's so cold. There was something else that you wanted us to see from Bitcoin. Something else that you wanted us to see. Okay, guys. Well, it was fun chatting with you guys. I hope you guys like the topic. I know went off we went off track and we talked about some other things, but it was great talking to you guys. I hope you guys Stay warm and have a wonderful night. And you know what? I'll probably come on tomorrow again. I do have a live schedule. Hopefully, we can start on time and hopefully, you guys can make it. And hopefully, you guys can join the chat. So, I thank you guys for coming in. It was fun, it was informative, and I hope you have a great night and stay warm. Okay, I'll also check that out, but I hope you guys stay warm and have a wonderful night. Okay, so I will, because these things are in the chat, I will definitely check them out. But have a good night. Peace to you guys. Thank you for being my platonic friends. So have a great night. Bye.